Thank you, Mr. San. I'm Toshio Yamagata. I will chair this Japanese session. I'm already semi-retired, so if I have some problem, please help me. And I'd like to thank the organizing committee for giving me a wonderful opportunity to talk about the international cooperation on this particularly important occasion just prior to the UN Decade of Ocean Science for Sustainable Development. And since Professor Michida asked me to talk about Japanese early involvement in the international partnership, so I will try to shed light on contributions by our pioneers right after the Second World War II. I hope this attempt to study the past may contribute, hopefully, to a new innovative idea on data management. And during my preparation, lasted until yesterday night, I have realized several dilemmas exist between research and its dissemination, and between research and its operation. Both the technological progress and the societal awareness of the importance of change, in addition to variability, have provided a happy merger of those. I think the outstanding roles of IODE is very important in promoting this happy merger further. So let me start my talk. So I repeat this outstanding roles of IODE promote and coordinate internationally ocean research, observations, data management, capacity building to understand and manage better world oceans and coastal zones for well-being of humankind. Everything is in it. Dilemma is in it between understand and manage, and also science, and also for well-being of humankind in society. Now, let's go back to more than 300 years ago. There is some discussion about open science in Francis Bacon. In 1620, Francis Bacon wrote in his book entitled The Great Instauration as in the following. I will read. Lastly, I would address one general admonition to all that they consider what are the true ends of knowledge, and that they seek it not either for pleasure of the mind, or for contention, or for superiority to others, or for profit, or fame, or power, or any of the inferior things, but for the benefit and use of life, and that they perfect and govern it in charity. So this issue of open science is not new. There is the conflict at all levels between the desire for profit and the open dissemination of knowledge in society. This is particularly the case in which we are in danger. The reason d'etre of science is certainly to explore unknown things in nature and contribute to the well-being of society by disseminating the knowledge. However, there is always a gap between science, between curiosity-driven science and science for operational public services. Marine science is not an exception, which led Professor Koji Hidaka, one of the most outstanding physical oceanographer in Japan, to another dilemma. Hidaka has two dilemmas. One is he's a physical oceanographer, try to understand the transport, circumpolar circulation, Antarctic circumpolar circulation, and he reached 500 swellups, just considering wind-driven stress. But actually, actual transport is about 100 or 150 swellups, and that's a dilemma. Now we know there is a bottom pressure torque interaction between our fluid and also rotating Earth is very important. That's a bottom pressure torque. I prefer J-bar concept anyway. just following the swirl-up concept is wrong, completely wrong. So I'll show the unsung nowadays Professor Hidaka's book. Koji Hidaka published a book, and this is title of Japanese, Kaiyou Gaku to no 40年. That means 40 years with oceanography, and published 1968. And Hidaka is very well known for its theory of ocean circulation, just at the same time of the Henry Stommel or Walter Munk. And he established also Ocean Research Institute, now Atmosphere Ocean Research Institute of University of Tokyo in 1962. And also he established Hidaka Marine Science Foundation for Society. And right now I'm the president of this society. And now our name changed into Japan Marine Science Foundation. And also we introduced later on Japan Oceanography Society's Hidaka Prize. And the medal is like that, in memory of his outstanding contribution to ocean science. So Japan's contribution to international expeditions after the World War II was as a country's general policy to revive the international peaceful partnership, particularly in the field of science. That's a country's policy after war. And we born after that, and we spent almost 70 years for the world community. Unfortunately, some countries completely forgot my generation's activity. That's a problem for me. Anyway, 1953, Roger Rubel, there you know, outstanding scientist, director of SIO, visited Japan and proposed a multilateral US, Canada, Japan observation program for the North Pacific. And Kanji Suda, director of Hydrographic Department, Maritime Safety Agency, responded to this very positively based on our country's new policy and decided to join the program, which was realized as a NOPAC in 1955. I just describe the details here. No need to go into details. Anyway, this led us to the Indo-Pacific or Asia-Pacific road to IOC and SCORE. In 1955, I already mentioned, NOPA cruise was realized. And quite interestingly, this was for studies of fishery problems, societal problems. In October, there was an important meeting in our community, world community, at the International House of Japan at Torizaka, still there, near here. And the UNESCO symposium was held there, and two meetings, one for the East Asian Regional Oceanography, and another for IACOM's, International Advisory Committee on Marine Science inauguration. And two leaders was very active. One is our Koji Hidaka, and another one is Danish marine biologist Anton Blum, quite well known in IOC. And I found, after checking the details, I found a very interesting name. You can see, encircled by red line, Klaus Wiltke. Klaus Wiltke worked hard for this. And he published NANA report, his outstanding scientist, to discuss El Nino. Right? And based on those meetings, UNESCO established IACOMS based on the proposal of Japan. In 1956, next year, meeting held in Lima, Peru, and that was the first session of IACOMS. And it's formulated a number of recommendations, international recommendations, concerning the potential role of UNESCO in marine sciences. And they started also ECOAPAC, cooperative study of Pacific Equatorial Zone cruise. And this is a game by United States, Japan, and France. 1957, SCORE was established. And this is very important for academic community of ocean science. And at the same time, International Geophysical Year, almost all geophysicists know this. Russia successful in launching Sputnik, and the US a little bit after that. And Van Allen belt was discovered. So satellite era started. And this is another important thing for geophysicists and oceanographers. And November, the second session year comes, review the general policy of marine science programs of UNESCO and recommended a major project to start. But a crack is caused between the process-oriented oceanography and the operational oceanography here. You can see I put that in 1960, intergovernmental conference, intergovernmental and also academics, sometimes have a friction. And Ocean Research, ICAR, recommended setting up within the framework of UNESCO an Intergovernmental Oceanography Commission, and IOC was established. Again, also Japanese delegate contributed a lot for establishment of IOC, but it's not oceanographer. And that generated a problem in Hidaka's mind. In 1961, the IOC First Assembly was held and chaired by Anton Blum, Denmark, and Ulster became the first secretary of IOC. And they started Indian Ocean Expedition, IIOE-1. But now we have very important IIOE-2, and perhaps this will lead to the next decade of marine science. But look at this, Indian Ocean bubble. Who said this? This was said by Henry Stommel. Henry Stommel, collaborator of Hidaka, both likes process-oriented study, genuine science, and hesitated to accept any official positions. Right? And Hidaka also left because some kind of regular section, government-related oceanographers started just a regular section, and that irritated Stommel and Hidaka. But more than half a century later, we now have almost a happy merger of those process-oriented oceanography and operational oceanography. This is mostly due to the rapid technology development in remote in-situ measurement systems, computer simulation, and data simulation, particularly for predicting future state of the ocean. And also recognition of importance in monitoring changes as well as studying variability has been another impetus in accord to progresses in our understanding of ocean state. I must cite the important activity by Jotaro Masuzawa. He was a physical oceanographer, and the first physical oceanographer, he became the Director General of Japan Meteorological Agency. And he started 137 degree east repeat section in 1967. And I cited the picture here. And when I joined the Tonga activity, I was often criticized by American colleagues, process-oriented people, outstanding people. Why Japan continues such silly repeat sections always? But now time has changed. That kind of repeat section caught the change of the ocean state. So this kind of operational oceanography is very important. People now start realizing this. So in that sense, Jotaro Masuzawa is an outstanding scientist also. Now, let me go to the space. You can see this is a Cassini's picture, photo, and Earth is somewhere there, just a dot, small dot. Well, by the way, several days later, our space mission did very remarkable things. They landed in a small piece of rocks somewhere far away. So quite an interesting one. Anyway, during just the Cold War period, 1961, JFK, John F. Kennedy, gave an address entitled "The U.S. Challenge, a Peace Race." I hope the current president listened to this one, I hope. U.S. challenge, real challenge, a peace race. And I found a very impressive paragraph in his address. Today, every inhabitant of this planet must contemplate the day when this planet may no longer be habitable. Every man, woman, and child lives under a nuclear sword of Damocles, hanging by the slandered threads, capable of being cut at any moment by accident or miscalculation or by madness. Now, just to change a few words, we can completely adopt the same word of JFK. More than half a century later, we now have another sword of Damocles, which is a global change, mostly due to anthropogenic origin. So even if the Paris Agreement is satisfied and is successful in keeping a global temperature rise in this century well below 2 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial levels, but we have a lot of amazing positive feedbacks, particularly various biogeochemical positive feedbacks may have possibility leading us to the hothouse. And you can visit this important paper recently published by Stefan in PNAS. So how to steer our Earth system or our ocean to a sustainable trajectory? And it's important to change our values and code of conduct, social systems, economic systems, and others. And that's why the ICSU had a merger with ISSC, and they changed the title ISC. And also they are very eager to establish Future Earth program. And this is academic response to SDGs. Even if heading for a relatively reasonable path, we enter into very, very hothouse conditions. So adaptation and mitigation measures will be very important. And enhancement of resilience to extreme events will be particularly important. And in this sense, prediction activity based on the data and data assimilation is very important. So just I wrote a Future Earth program led by ISC to develop the knowledge for responding effectively to the risks and opportunities of global environmental change, and support societal transformation toward global sustainability in coming decades for wellness and well-being of all living creatures. And by the way, Jeffrey Sachs wrote a very interesting note, and he discussed importance of data. The success of SDGs will depend on the ability to harness data for decision-making and to invest in building innovative data systems that draw on new sources of real-time data and create an active link between the provision of services and the collection and processing of data. Just IODE initiative. And just I will show the recent work done by Miyazawa, my colleague, for ocean prediction. He asked strict shearwater bores to measure ocean. And this is the GPS data locations during a period of 10 days in 2010. Shearwater everywhere. And there is some kind of measurement, small one, on the shoulder, and measured. And the habitat area like this covers all Western Pacific. So we must be helped by seabirds. So that's another direction, IODE. And Asia Pacific, we live in Asia Pacific. We have suffered a tremendous agony of natural disasters, monsoon, El Nino, or Indian Ocean dipole. So Asia is located at the most active natural social crossroad of global and regional phenomena events. Therefore, success of regional implementation of IOC-IODE initiatives is severely tested in the Asia-Pacific region. And I think it's important. Okay, time is already over, so I must rush to my goal. Anyway, natural catastrophes, and I try to show the Asia has a lot of disasters. And such as the Philippines, hit by the super typhoon. But now we are successful in introducing some kind of climate prediction system and ocean prediction system to some extent. 3 months later, 9 months later, we know the conditions. This purple and green is more than 60% or 90% successful. We can capture the future. Right panel is the precipitation. So we must have a merger of the prediction system and data acquisition and data assimilation. So again, I'll come back to the original outstanding roles, IOC-IODE. So UN Decade of Ocean Science for Sustainable Development will be an epoch-making event to consolidate the IOC-IODE leadership. Thank you very much.